Alright fellas, what's going on? Denonu here, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the new Justice League trailer that just dropped yesterday. And I'm just going to give my likes and dislikes on it. I know I'm not a big fan of the DCEU or whatever they're, calling it, but in all honesty, it's not because I hate DC Comics. I know I'm more of a bit of a Marvel fan, at heart than DC, but being that this is, the medium that I love to enjoy, comic books, I'm a fan of everything. I'm not, as far as the movies go, when it comes to DC stuff, I'm not a fan of how they're directing their movies. Not that I'm not a fan of the movies themselves, if you guys understand what I'm trying to say. But with this trailer here, we get a whole lot more to, we get a whole lot more in the movie that they're showing us. But one thing I will say I do like about it, this feels like a decent trailer. It seems like DC is at least learning, or not DC, I'm sorry, WB is at least learning their lessons with each fuck up that they make. And so far, if you guys go back and watch my videos, every time I talk about a WB movie, that's the one thing that I want to see, is that I'm hoping that they can learn from their mistakes and get better going forward, because I think they kind of pigeonhole themselves into making a style of movie without, and they tried to make a movie without planning things out. And then they realized, like, oh shit, that doesn't work. So now they're going back and trying to fix things going forward. So it looks like a really good trailer, I will say that. My biggest complaints about it is not necessarily the trailer itself, just more so of like certain choices that they went with. Like, I'm not feeling the Flash, that socially awkward Kid Flash type character. No, that's not. I don't know which Flash they was looking at, but that's none of them. So that's my big problem with him. But outside of that, Aquaman being a dude, bro, still not feeling that, because again, that wasn't Aquaman either. But hey, it's a movie. They have to make likable characters for their movie franchise. I'm not gonna jump on the mic and say, oh yeah, it has to be just like the comic book. No, that's far from that. As long as they get the characters right, I don't care really what they do with the movie verse, so to speak. It could be like its own Elseworlds type story. So that's why I like Marvel stuff, because regardless whether if you like Marvel's movies or not, whether if they appeal to you or not, you can't look at a Marvel movie and be like, you know what, they fucked up one of the heroes' character. It's like they're changing their movies around to make a cohesive story, but the character for each one of their heroes is pretty much the same, across all the mediums, comic books, cartoons, what have you. It's the same shit. And that's what I like, is character. As long as you have those characters on screen, I don't care what story you tell, I just don't. It's just certain directing decisions with WB I don't like. Like with Batman v Superman, there was a lot of shit I didn't like. If they trying to compete with Marvel, you have to come to the table with like some good shit, and they didn't. They fumbled the ball at the touchdown line, and the other team picked it up. YouTube. That's exactly what that movie was. But with this one here, it looks like they're learning from their mistakes, like I said before. One thing I will say I did like was the tone of the trailer was, I'm not going to say it was like, oh, it was a fun trailer to watch. It wasn't like it was Thor Ragnarok, where it was just like completely fun. And it's like they try to find a balance. It's like a light-toned, serious movie, So it's like they trying to make it serious, but it has like a lighter tone, and I think it definitely works. They needed that. For all those people who bitch online about, oh, WB's movies have to be super serious. No, fuck that. No. You're watching a movie to be entertained. That's what Marvel does. That's the reason why they're selling and outselling every one of WB's movies, is for that specific reason. They appeal to families. If you make a super serious tone movie, you can't appeal to a certain demographic, which is the biggest demographic of the people who watch movies. Families, kids, that kind of sort of thing. So that's the reason why Marvel doesn't. It's the reason why they don't make like a super serious movie with tons of killing in it. They can't. It's stupid. You're shooting yourself in the foot at that point. But with Justice League, they're at least learning, like, okay, yeah, we fucked up, so we have to lighten it a little bit. And another thing I liked about the trailer is they didn't show you everything. Like, they didn't do it like the Batman v Superman trailer where they just, showed you every goddamn thing. Oh, here's the villain, or here's here's Doomsday in the movie. It's like, no, why are you showing Doomsday? Why was Doomsday even in that movie? But that's a whole nother point, YouTube, whole nother point. But they showed basically the whole plot of the movie in the trailer, so there was no room for surprises and things like that. Like with this one here, they're not showing Superman, coming back from the dead. I'm guessing they're saving that for like the end of the movie or something like that, maybe like the halfway point. But they're not showing him in like the black costume if he has it, things like that. They're trying to touch on it, like everybody knows, like, okay, yeah, he's coming back, but they're not, showing it. They're gonna save that for the movie, because you have to keep audiences engaged when you're seeing it. If everybody knows what happens, why do they got to see the damn movie? One problem I will say with it, outside of the Flash, is I'm hoping that the threat is big enough. I know it looks big enough on screen. I'm not gonna say it doesn't. Looks like they're gonna go with the whole dark side, apocalypse invasion type thing, and that's cool. But without having a main villainous character, like, don't get me wrong, Steppenwolf he's cool, but he's not, unless what I'm trying to say is they have to show at least Steppenwolf doing some villain shit. And I'm not, saying show him from the outside, let's say like he's trying to kill people and the hero's got to stop him. I'm not showing that. I'm like, you have to see him from his side. You have to show him being villainous. Like, for instance, in Avengers Age of Ultron, you showed, Ultron, talking to the twins, building the Ultron bots. He was explaining his plans. You have to show all of that. And I just don't understand by Steppenwolf and Parademons. Parademons don't really talk. They don't communicate. They just attack. So they're just generic foot soldiers, in all intents and purposes. So if it's just gonna be Steppenwolf and Parademons, what is Steppenwolf gonna do? How are you gonna show him being villainous? You can't show him doing everything, so he's not gonna be going around the world collecting mother boxes or whatever the plot of the movie is. So he has to have like agents on the ground or people that he directs, and that's the problem. They're not showing anybody in the trailer, so I'm hoping he has people he directs outside of Parademons, because Parademons, it's just showing him pointing and talking, like, go get that over there, and they go get it. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you have to show him being a bad guy and doing bad guy things, and that's what I'm worried about. Is I just don't want him to pop up at the end of the movie and be like, oh, I'm the big bad guy, and have the heroes try to fight him, so that is a concern of mine, but I'm hoping it's not the case. I didn't see it in the trailer as much, but I'm hoping the whole Henry Cavill digital mustache remove thing that they've had going on, I'm hoping that don't fuck with some of Superman scenes. For those of you who don't know, I think they had did some reshoots once Joss Whedon started directing after Snyder left, and I want to say Henry Cavill was doing like another movie where he had like a mustache in that movie, and they didn't allow him to, let's say, shave the mustache off when he was doing the reshoots. So they were going to digitally remove his mustache on film for his scenes, so we didn't see it in the movie. I'm hoping that it looks good, because another thing that's bugging me about this trailer, YouTube, is the CG. The CG is not good. CG is not good. I'm not saying that it's like, oh, it looks like shit, but it's the only CG that I thought looked decent, I will say that, is the Aquaman's underwater scene. I was kind of worried that in that little snippet that they had in Batman v Superman, I was like, okay, the underwater looks like shit. I was wondering how they were going to do that, but they showed a quick shot of Aquaman underwater in this trailer, and it looked pretty good. I'm not going to lie and be like, oh, it looked like shit. No, that underwater scene, that looked decent. I was worried how they were going to do that, so and that was going to make me worry about his movie whenever it drops. But they had a lot of CG. I don't know, maybe it's the trailer, but the trailer, maybe the CG was unfinished, but every scene where they had CG, it just looked like it was CG. Especially the one scene that really stood out was that scene where Cyborg caught Aquaman in the air, That whole sequence, I just shook my head every time they showed his face. I was like, oh man, like I'm hoping it don't look as bad in the actual movie. Well, what I'm hoping is that by this being the trailer, maybe it's just oh wow, phone going off, being all kind of sorts of there we go. Let me adjust that real quick. There we go. Sorry about that, YouTube, being all unprofessional. But I'm hoping that it's just a trailer, that they just released the trailer just to get it out there because the movie's like a month away. So I'm hoping that maybe when the movie actually drops, that the CG is going to be better. It's going to be more polished and stuff. Maybe it's just me, but maybe, I can't help with Marvel spoiling us throughout their movies with the good CG. I know they got that Disney money to put towards every movie they make. So, maybe I'm just expecting WB to have that same clout, and maybe they just don't, so that's why they can't make their movies look as good. But it's going to take a lot of people out of it. Like, I've seen a lot of people's review videos of them doing commentaries about this trailer, and everybody's like touching on the same points. It's like the CG needs work, it needs polish. So I'm hoping that this isn't like the CG we get at the end, when the movie actually comes out. But outside of that, I could say this looks decent. I don't think it's going to be the greatest thing in the world, but I think that it's something that WB needs as a movie. Maybe Wonder Woman changed, people's minds when it comes to, the WB movies. So maybe that movie's clout may carry over into this. I'm hoping it does, but they need a little bit of work, YouTube. I'm not saying, it's not perfect. I love Justice League as much as the next person, but it's not perfect. Like, there was a few shots in there, like Wonder Woman standing on top of the statue, and you just like you could tell she wasn't on the statue at all. You could see, when doing close-ups of Ben Affleck's face, you could see the wig between his wig and his actual hair. So it's like it's not perfect. But I'm hoping they get there. I'm hoping this is a good stepping stone. I think the first step could have been a whole lot better. I think they should have planned it out a little bit more, did Doomsday, did Superman. I don't think they should have came out with Batman v Superman. I think they should have just, put out a couple movies first to build up people's excitement towards the bigger team up movies. You can't just start with the excitement. So, but this is what they're going with. This is what they're kind of stuck with, at least for right now. So, I'm hoping they make it work, because like I keep saying in every commentary I do, I want them to make just as much money as Marvel does, because I want to see my Avengers versus Justice League movie. For those of you who don't know, in the comic books, they had a couple times where the two companies worked together and they put out team up books where you had like the Avengers go to the DC universe and the DC Justice League go to Marvel's universe. So they had a couple crossovers, and you've seen that one picture of like Superman holding Captain America's shield in one hand and Thor's hammer in the other. So they're like, that's what I want on screen, YouTube. That's what I want. That's my end game. I can die a happy man if I see that in movie form and have it be like the greatest movie ever made. So I'm hoping they truly make money with this movie. Outside of that, I don't really have a lot of other nitpicks about it. It's the only other nitpick thing that I have is just it's really a minor thing, but one thing that bugs me with all comic book movies, Marvel included, is I don't know if there's a CG reason, but none of the characters' hair are the same, because they even do it on television and in the movies, where, let's say, for instance, I can name 3 people. You have Barry Allen from the Flash TV show, Steve Rogers, Captain America from Marvel movies, and certain other characters who, let's say, have blonde or black hair, aka Lois Lane from the movies and things like that. It's like, for whatever reason, they changed the hair colors of the characters. I don't understand why that is. Like, I think there's a CG reason, like maybe they can't do blonde hair in CG and do it right or something, but I don't know. They always either make it dirty blonde or highlight, so it's like, that's like something that bugs me. It's not really a big nitpick, but it's like, if you're making a movie, why not, and you could dye people's hair, why not just dye people's hair? It seems like a simple thing, but maybe they have their own reasons, for doing that. It's just something I notice with every movie they come out. Like, every time I look at Aquaman in this, it's like, okay, yeah, I can see they want him to like him, but it's like, he had blonde fucking hair. It just bugs the hell out of me. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But my name is Denonu, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And I will see you guys in the next commentary video. Peace out.